Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we're gonna get right into it, man. We're gonna talk about a few things, but one of the things we're gonna bring on, we have a guest that's joining us today that's going to talk to us a little bit about our newly hired offensive coach Brian Johnson's tenure with the Philadelphia Eagles over the last few years. We're going to get some insight from him on the impact that he had on that team, and also we're going to get into the coaching search. It was a different kind of coaching search for us. That's something that we have not experienced, and I don't know when, right? Like it's been a very very long time since we have experienced the coaching search have we had today about Ben Johnson, McDonald, Quinn, and some other candidates that we have. We definitely going to talk about that on the other side of this. It's Redzone In the Lab podcast.
Shout out Redzone In the Lab podcast.
Hey, what up, y'all? It's Benjamin St. Jude's, DB for the Washington Commanders. I want to give a big shout out to Redzone In the Lab podcast.
Welcome back. This is Redzone In the Lab podcast. I am Deuce. And today, joining us today is I Am Smitty. He's going to be joining us in just a few seconds. And we're also going to talk about we're going to talk to him about Brian Johnson, who was just hired to be an offensive staff member. We're not sure exactly what his position is going to be, but we did have rumors that it was going to be some sort of a game coordinator, passing game coordinator for the offense, but that still hasn't been official yet. So we're still waiting to get that information. But he's definitely going to join us to chat it up with us and talk to us about Brian Johnson. Good morning, Garage. Yes, sir. We up on this good Saturday morning. What's up, Jeff? Wayne, what's good, man? So glad you can join us. That's my sports. Why not Chip Kelly? I mean, we did interview him, and I think it may have been him if Cliff didn't pull away from the Las Vegas Raiders job because he was, slated to sign there. He was slated to be there, and we was interviewing Chip Kelly. And I think it may have been Chip Kelly if it wasn't for Cliff Kingsbury, But for me, I just kind of wait. I wanted to wait, and I didn't want to do too much on Chip Kelly. But what I did do some research on Chip Kelly when he was in the running. I wanted to just know that it wasn't the Chip Kelly that we were familiar with, right? Like the Chip Kelly that went to Philadelphia and got rid of all of their good players that were outspoken black players, right? Like we didn't want to have that type of drama. So, and that offense, that up-tempo offense that he ranks the average 80 plays a game. It came out on fire because I think they had over 90 plays that first year in Philly of 20 plus yards. But it got kind of stale after 6 games, But just looking back on UCLA these last few years, he runs the ball more. That offense is still an up-tempo offense, but it's not up-tempo to what we remember when he was with the Eagles. But we have Cliff now. So does having Cliff guarantee Caleb, or do you want Daniels? I don't think it guarantees wanting Caleb, but I do think it gives you the best or the most, or let me see, as a coach and someone that has intel on Caleb as a person and a player that's worked with him day in and day out. I think Cliff gives you that edge. He gives you that edge. Like he can walk up to Adam and say, hey, look, we need to get a farm for this player. He is going to be him. Or he can say, you know what? He's a great player. I think he's going to be a great player in the NFL, but we shouldn't give up this, and that. I can work with Jaden Daniels or Drake May. I do believe that he can work with all three quarterbacks. I do believe he can work with all three quarterbacks. I believe he can work with Caleb Williams. I believe he can work with Drake May. I also believe he can work with Jaden Daniels, and also believe he can work with Sam Howell. Right? I think he can work with Sam Howell, and that. And we want to talk about these coaches that because a lot of people, especially bringing back Tavita Pritchard, a lot of fans believe that's a play for Sam Howell. So we're about to bring up Smitty, and then we're gonna get back to the other Cliff and those things later. Good morning, Riri. I heard someone point out on another show last night that all of our coaching staff is coming off a humbling experience. It's a redemption song for everybody on the staff. Shout out, Bob. Yeah, we definitely gonna talk about that because we heard a lot about redemption. Smitty, what's good? You there, man?
Yeah, I'm here, brother. How you feeling?
I can't see or hear Smitty.
I'm gonna leave and come back.
Then wait to Smitty get in. He'll come back. But yeah, Garage, we definitely gonna get into a little bit about that redemption because that's exactly what it looked like. A lot of these coaches that we have, especially their previous stints, has been. Oh, they said they could see and hear him, so maybe it's me. Because I can't see and hear him. Here we go. I think it probably was me, Smitty. What's up, man? My bad, man. Probably was me because I'm like, it's a black screen. And everybody in the comments, we seeing here. What's good, man?
I'm cooling, man. How you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling good, man. Man, we got Smitty here, man. For what is the 4133, the podcast? Was good, man.
Yeah, man. Man, I'm good, man. I wanted to come on here and justify Brian Johnson. I ain't want the, the rumors that's out there about what he did for us look sad on him,
Yeah, definitely, man. But before we get into that, 4133, what is that?
That's the score of the Super Bowl, bro.
Clever. All right, clever. I like it. Clever, man. But like just a little background. Why get into podcasting before we get into Brian Johnson?
I always was one of the people that it was like, man, you always be talking ball. You know what I'm saying? I played ball my whole life. I coached. And then I always like had people that would hit me up and be like, what's going on with the Eagles? What's going on with this? What's going on with that? And then I found myself a lot of times like looking at other people's podcasts and being like, man, I could be more informative than them. Like I could give you more than what they give me. And I was like, man, if I could do anything, you know what I'm saying? I just want to put it out there. You know what I'm saying? I put in my all, you know what I'm saying? I put in hard work. So I thought it would be a nice gesture to give people some realistic takes on what football really is.
Yeah, it's cool, man. I've checked out a few shows. Your show and the one with Certified and kicking them. It'd be very entertaining, especially that week leading up to what was that, the 49ers game? That was one of my best
then
episodes.
We lost like that, man. It was sad, brother. It was sad.
That was one of my fun episodes, man. But all right, Brian Johnson. When he first came to the team, what role was he in when he first came to did he come in with a new regime? Was he a holdover? Like what was his first stint?
He came in the second year of Shane Steichen. The second year. So we was in year. He came in as the quarterback coach with Jalen Hurts. Not the first year. Jalen Hurts went in that first year, played the 4 games, but the season we went 9-8. We signed Brian Johnson to be the quarterback coach. We brought him in. And you pretty much could see it, man. You can see the difference in the quarterback in the next year. You know what I mean? Like we
Mm-hmm.
went to the Super Bowl. What I want to tell people is like, he came to the Eagles. I don't know if they had the outlook that he would be the offensive coordinator, but it was a simple transition. Um, but if anybody know about Nick Sirianni, in the first season, he went 2-5 as the play caller. And he kind of had a meeting with management. They kind of made him give up the reins of the offense to Shane Steichen. We went 7-2 in the last stretch of that season. We went to the playoffs. We got beat by the Bucks though. Everybody remember that.
Okay,
Um,
so Brian was the play caller prior to Steichen.
no, he was the quarterback coach
He's the
slash
okay,
offensive assistant.
okay, okay. Got you, got you,
Yeah,
got you. All right. So, how important was he in the development of Jalen Hurts?
I think he was pivotal. I think he was pivotal because if you look at that 4-game season, uh, when he played the 4 in his rookie year,
Mm-hmm.
the offense wasn't catered to him, or they wasn't using his strong points. So I think in the next year when you bring in Brian Johnson and Shane Steichen, I think them working together to create something that worked perfectly for Jalen Hurts was very pivotal.
Has Jalen Hurts, over the years, given him any like public credit to his development?
Many times you can go all the way back to Alabama, and you'll hear him talk about Brian Johnson. They've
Oh,
been
so
they've been working together every summer since he was in a freshman in high school.
that's interesting. Okay, I didn't know that. So he has a lot of familiarity with Jalen Hurts. That's very good to know.
They
All right,
actually go.
so
They actually been knowing each other since Jalen Hurts was 4. Uh Brian Johnson played for Jalen Hurts' father in high school.
oh man, you taking this way back. Okay, Smitty, I see you. I see you, man. So they have a
Yeah,
pretty tight relationship. Okay, so
he
we
he
know
recruited
he
him. He recruited him too. He recruited Jalen Hurts to try to come to
to
Florida,
Alabama.
right?
To Alabama?
No, to Florida.
Florida.
He
Florida.
tried to
Okay.
he tried to get him to flip from Alabama to Florida, but it didn't work out. But he tried to get him in that season where he was coming out of high school, recruit him to Florida.
Oh, that's it. So he has a lot of experience with them. So he was one of the voices in their campaigning for Jalen Hurts. That's good to know, man. So it seems like if he believes in you, he'll definitely support you and campaign for you. And I know you got to prep for your show, Smitty, but this past year, like this been a like you said, there's been a lot coming out about Brian Johnson. He had the play caller. Steichen went off to the Colts. He went
Coach,
off to the Colts. Brian Johnson steps in as the offensive coordinator. How does that like? Is he calling his playbook? Is he like? Tell us about him as a coordinator. Like, what's that whole dynamic like with him and Sirianni?
the 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 dynamic was tainted. There was a trust issue. I'll tell you like this, and you could tell me how you feel. Week 11, there was a report coming out of the locker room that the offensive players didn't know who was like predominantly the play caller,
Hmm.
because Brian Johnson would call, and then it would be times where Sirianni would check him out. But like it's really like what he do because he's creative. You know what I mean? He bring a different swag. He brings some of that college creativity to the game. You know what I mean? You see we did the tush push, but you seen a lot of variations this year out of the tush push. You seen us throw out of the tush push. You seen us attempt to go deep. You seen us run out of it. Like, you know what I'm saying? He put some variations in it that I like. Um, the only thing is I think he was handcuffed because he wasn't able to implement his own offense fully, which y'all aren't gonna let him do either. Cliff Kingsbury's coming with y'all offense, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, the thing I do like about y'all hire for him is y'all bringing in a young quarterback, and more than likely both of them are going to be mobile, and that's his best attribute. He worked with Anthony Richardson, Dak Prescott. He turned Felipe Franks from a bum into a third round pick. Like he does develop quarterbacks well, and I think that's the upside of what y'all did get.
That's the point. I know Torch was in the chat asking about what other successful quarterbacks he's worked with. And how did he take? Because a big thing with us over the years is having people in the building that has high character, humble, willing to admit their mistakes, all different types of sort of things. But when he took that, well, I don't want to call it demotion, but when the play calling got taken away from him, how did he handle that on field and off field?
As a gentleman, bro, he pulled the guys aside that had trust in him, and he talked to him and he told him, like, I'm doing my best. I hope I can do better. You know what I'm saying? And when he was in the media, he took blame. He said, it's on me. It's on me. I made a mistake. I didn't get him prepared. I didn't do the right things. I didn't call plays to utilize people. Even when it wasn't him, you know what I mean? Even when AJ Brown came out and said, look, this ain't all Brian Johnson's fault. Even when everybody was blaming him, he still was like, nah, it's me. It's my fault. You know what I'm saying? I'm a man. I'll man up. I'll take the reins of what I did. And he stood in there. He is a humble man, bro. You know what I'm saying? He comes from humble beginnings. Starting. I mean, playing for Jalen Hurts' dad, went to Utah. He was on the cover of NCAA 12.
Yeah, I saw that. That was crazy. That was insane.
So he a humble man, and he a winner, man. So I think y'all got a guy that y'all can mold into something y'all might want later down the line. I think that's what we should have did. That was kind of what I was begging for, Deuce. I was like, man, bring in somebody that's experienced to put next to him, to teach him, vet him, show him what he need to do so he's just not out there making mistakes. You know what I'm saying? People look at Shane Steichen's success, but they don't remember he goes way back. He's been coaching for a lot longer than Brian Johnson in the NFL. Yeah. He has some type of – he had encounters with Phillip Rivers and stuff like that. He worked with Andrew Luck. Like, he had some guys in his corner that were great quarterbacks if, when it comes down to playing this game, man. So it's a little different. I think they should have brought somebody in. And I think Cliff next to him.
That's what I was going to ask you. How do you think, knowing about Cliff, like how you think that dynamic will work?
I think it'll be perfect because I think the type of offense Cliff want to run is the type of offense Brian Johnson is more comfortable in. More of that spread West Coast kind of motion offense. He ran it. I mean, he basically ran that in Texas A&M. He basically ran it at Florida. And especially if you have a mobile quarterback, it works out even more, in his favor. I think him and Cliff. I think if Cliff really trusts him and give him the opportunity to learn, and he accepts that, I think y'all got a guy, man, probably gonna be in the building for a while.
I can't wait. Look, man, I know you got your show about to pop on at 10 o'clock. We definitely appreciate you for coming through, spending some time with us. Follow Smitty, great content creator, knows a lot about the Eagles, even though we don't like the Eagles, but he's good. He knows about the Eagles, and he has a lot of experience and understand who Brian Johnson is. You can catch him on Twitter at Smitty Eagles 373. YouTube 4133 the podcast, and whatever else do you have going on, Smitty?
Man, I mean, I'm finna go live in 6 minutes, but I know y'all gonna be on business. But well, Sunday nights I do the aftermath, but it's a full breakdown of like what happened in the NFL. We talk everything, you know what I'm saying? Usually about 8:30, but since the Super Bowl, we probably gonna do it a little later.
Yeah. Super Bowl, boy. That's gonna be something. Who you got? Oh, let me wait. No, y'all gotta watch the show, watch the playback. I usually watch.
I was just finna say that. I was finna say I can't tell you yet.
Yeah, I know.
I ain't even told them yet. They don't even know who I'm picking. They like.
Yep. Usually catch them on, and we know some of the guys. Certified, which has been on this show plenty of times on Redzone In the Lab. Kicker. What's his name? I can't think of his. Yep, J Mick, who's also a good content guy. So it's a really good show, man. It's funny. You guys be having a lot of fun. But definitely appreciate you, Smitty. Definitely appreciate you, bro. All right, man. Peace. All right, y'all. Let's get, and we're gonna talk about some coaches. Let's take a quick break, show you this new front office intro. We'll be right back.
It's a great day for me, but what will be a better day will be when we get this team to a place where we're playing beyond the regular season, where we're competing for a championship.
Let's talk about some of these coaches. Actually, the coaching hire itself, these coaching hires, right? So we interviewed a lot of top candidates. Most of the candidates that we interviewed were hired as head coaches. So that pretty much lets you know that this organization is different. This organization is not the same as it used to be. I mean, even with the last hire with Ron, I'm trying to even remember if we even interviewed anyone else. I don't think we did. I know Ron was fired, I think, late November or something like that. And then that process started with him reaching out to Joe Gibbs, blah, 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 all that whole part. And then we hired him, I think, right after the new year or right after the season ended. And I don't even know if he even looked at any other jobs, right? I just, so this coaching cycle was different. Even the committee to bring in Adam Peters was different. Josh Harris, the Hog ownership group, they decided to bring in Bob Myers, which is a highly decorated NBA basketball executive, highly decorated. And most people know him for the franchise and Golden State over the last 10 years. I think they have 3-4 championships, something like that. He was the reason behind that. He was very instrumental in that. He retired or he left them, I think, some year ago. So, and then you bring in Chris Spielman, which is a highly respected GM and football player. Now, he wasn't one of the best GMs of all time, but he has a huge Rolodex. He has a huge understanding of the business. He has a huge understanding of what it takes to run a successful franchise, what it takes to have and build successful relationships. He has that understanding. So now, and then the previous hire prior to that, a few months back, was Shin, which is the analytics guy. So you have this team of people that Josh Harris built up, which came out of nowhere. Like we didn't expect this. We didn't expect the basketball executive. We didn't expect Chris Bill. Like we didn't expect these things. Some teams, they hire firms. They hire firms to help with their coaching searches. Josh Harris went way out the box. But let me get to some of these comments. What's up, Church? Yeah, saw that already. What's up, Asan? What's up, man? I ain't seen you here in a while, man. Yep, good intel. Good to know potentially good hire. Brian Johnson definitely got that in the mainstream media. Yes, sir. Bruce Wayne. Good morning. What's up, Smoke? Yeah. So when you think about the team that Harris put together to find a GM, that's really out the box. We wasn't expecting it. We didn't hear nothing about it. There were no rumors that there was none of that, right? It just happened. So then they get into an external. Who do we want? Who do we want to run this team? Who do we want this team to be molded by? You want someone successful. You want someone that has experience. You want someone that's respected, right? Respected, experience, successful. Someone that is relationships, great at relationships, great at communication. Don't have nothing, no, about to say something else, but no marks on their resume, right? Someone that has a relationship with multiple franchises, that have, when you look back in reference checks, glowing references. This is someone that you want. And you want the hottest person. You want someone that's coming from somewhere with winning. Like sometimes we hire, like you think about the Ron hire. He's coming from, we'll get into that later, but you want someone that understands winning and recent winning, not 10 years ago, 5 years ago, but recent winning. The hottest person was Adam Peters, Ian Cunningham, right? Those were the two hottest executive GMs in the NFL. Those are the only two that we interviewed. Adam Peters, number one, Ian Cunningham, number two. At one point, both of them paused or let other teams know that they weren't interested in any other job. That is big. That was a big plus. That was a huge plus for this franchise. Adam Peters didn't take any more interviews. Ian Cunningham, they all were waiting for us to make a decision on which one of them we wanted to hire. We decided to go with Adam Peters. Great reviews coming from the San Francisco 49ers. Great team, great front office. He was responsible. So when you think about Adam Peters and where he come from, I think he started in Denver as a young pup and he moved up. He started from a scout. Like his elevator is insane, right? He went to every floor. He didn't skip floors. He went up to every floor. He hit every button on that elevator and he continued to rise. He didn't, ain't nobody, he didn't skip 2 floors, skip 3 floors. He went through the grind. He went through the process. He understands each level of personnel. And that's what you want. You want someone that understands each level of personnel. Anytime you have like the people that you manage, anytime you have the people that you manage, can you all hear me? I don't know. Am I going in and out? I think that's better. Anytime you have people that you manage speak highly of you, I mean, from the person that's your assistant all the way down to the person that's all the way in this that you hardly ever see. Speaking of scouts, they speak highly of you. We had someone on the show that has a relationship with a lot of the scouts that work with him, and they had glowing reviews. The input that they have, everything he takes into consideration. He doesn't just blow it off. He takes into consideration, and he has conversations about which way that he wants to go based off the intel that they gave. Right, Radar is in the building. This is the best team of coaches I've seen since Joe Gibbs, Jack and Cook era. Love bringing in as many smart people as possible to do smart things. I would get to Cliff over EB. Some may forgot the timeline and go straight to DQ hire. Glad you're breaking it down this way. So when you think about the person, Adam Peters, he's the exact opposite of what we've seen in the building over the last 10, 15 years. And I'm not really talking about Martin Mayhew, like in the Ron era, like those were good people, respected, all like they were that, right? But just prior to that, what he has young is different than what we've ever seen, me personally. So I really respect the hire. I really appreciated the hire. But when you think about Adam Peters and his relationship that he has with his staff, there was a story I'm going to share with you that someone told me about Adam Peters. There was a time when some scouts saw a certain player that they like, but it was just like one scout. So instead of Adam Peters just going with the majority of the team, he wanted to understand why this person sees this in this person. Because a lot of times what we see automatically kind of gives us an impression of who that person really is without actually knowing who that person really is. Right. So if you see like offensive lineman that looks, 280 pounds, he's like 30 pounds underweight, you automatically know that's not going to work in the NFL without actually knowing what he actually can do with pads on. Right. So that's what that's who Adam Peters is. Like Adam Peters is that person that wants to know every detail about every single person, and he wants you to break down who you believe in and what you believe in. All right. So moving forward, to the coaching, right? Like I said earlier, all of the coaches that we brought in, and I don't have the list right now in front of me, but most of the coaches that we brought in all have head coaching jobs. We brought in all the top talent. Two of the guys that we brought in were top talent. They decided to go back, right? That's big. It even came out that Bill Belichick, we had a conversation with Bill Belichick. Even though a lot of us didn't want him, but who can go down as the best head coach of all time, wanted to talk to us? That's big. Whether it fit or not, that's still big. The youngest coaches wanted to talk to us. The older coaches wanted to talk to us. As a matter of fact, there's a report about Raheem Morris. Once he was offered the job from Atlanta, he reached back out to us to see if there was more interest from us. So that tells you that he wanted this job more than the Atlanta job. But Adam Peters told him that we still have these applicants set up that we still need to interview, that we would like to talk to. So that tells you that we're not the same, right? We're not afraid of losing top candidates. Raheem Morris wasn't the top candidate, right? He probably was top 5 in the circle. I mean, as far as overall, top 5, top 7, but he was a great candidate. I would have loved to have. He would have been a great coach, one of the best hires we've had in a long time. But no, your decision is not going to dictate our decisions anymore. NFL, you all's decision is not going to dictate our decisions anymore. Free agents that's out there, your decisions is not going to dictate ours, and we're going to choose who we want. We're going to choose when we want to have, or how much, or whatever the case may be. That's going to come from us. We're going to make that decision. All right, so let's get to the Ben Johnson thing. A lot of us wanted Ben Johnson as the head coach. A lot of us wanted Ben Johnson as a head coach. A lot of us also had concerns about his leadership, because in the beginning, Josh Harris, Peters, all those talked about a leader. I need a leader. I need a leader. I need a leader. Now, this is differences between leaders to me, right? Ron Rivera is a leader where he needs a specific group of people to lead, right? Let me say it again. Ron Rivera is a leader that needs a specific group of people to lead. Look at the team. Look at the front office. Look how what you will call yes man, in a sense. People that's not going to give you too much pushback. People that's not going to, they'll disagree, but once you make a point, they'll kind of back down. Okay, cool. We'll go with what you want to go with. I'm not saying that people can't lead like that. That's just how he decides that he's going to lead. I mean, look at our roster, right? Other than Chase Young, which he had a lot of confrontation with, a lot of hits in the press conferences over the years between them two, because Chase Young is not so much of a yes person, right? Remember, Chase Young was just an automatic pick. Like, it wasn't hard, but I believe it was really up to Ron. He probably wouldn't have wanted to go Chase Young, because Chase Young doesn't fit that character that Ron Rivera was looking for. I don't want a leader like that. I don't want a leader that has to pick the people that he's leading. I want a leader that can look at a group of people with numerous different personalities and be able to understand each one individually. So when you're looking at it in a holistic manner, you can see that they all understand and believe and will follow him in his direction. Just because I don't come to this person aggressively doesn't mean I can't come to that person aggressively. I should be able to, this person, I need to be in your face to tell you to block, hold your block. You're not holding your block. You need to hold it. I should be able to be in your face to do that. And then this person over here, I might can yell at it from the sideline. Hold your block. I don't want to say it again. Hold your block. I'm getting my point across, but two entirely different ways. I might have to storm across the field at practice to get in your face, but to you, I could just say it across the sidelines. I'm getting my point across. I'm still relating to you. I'm still respecting you as a man. I'm still respecting your character. And I'm still getting what I want, and you're still respecting me from the way that I went about it. That's who Adam Peters is. Right? That's who Adam Peters is looking for. He's looking for people that can lead a room of multiple personalities. Because you got to understand, man, like you need pit bulls, you need Rottweilers, you need some Chihuahuas, you need Dobermans. You need all of those. But you can't train them all the same way. This is not boxing. If you want one personality, go grab a boxer and train them. This is the NFL. At any given point on a roster, you can have up to 70 people, 70 football players, not even including staff. Ron focused too much on character than actual football players, and that's why he ended up in the position that he was in. So when you think about Ben Johnson, you think about that aspect of if he can lead. That was a question from a lot of people in the fan base, if he can lead. So the whole thing with Ben Johnson, we all wanted Ben Johnson. Or a lot of us wanted Ben Johnson. Like he was our one, right? McDonald, Slowick was in there. That was like the three in a sense, right? You had some Raheems out there for sure. But everyone, Ben Johnson's a lock. Ben Johnson's a lock. Ben Johnson's a lock. Local media, national media, Ben Johnson a lock. Ben Johnson a lock. Ben Johnson a lock. A few days prior to everything that happened, you start hearing little things come out. You know, John Cam, who we as Commander fans highly respect, Adam Schefter nationally, you kind of respect. Maybe not so fast. It might not be so. This might not be it. This, and that. And then we start hearing more and more after the fact. We used to start hearing more and more like the interview didn't go well. This didn't go well. You know, you might not want to coach or this, and that. So all of those things began to happen. But, you know, I believe that we still was going there for him to offer a contract. I believe we were. But on the way there, I mean, also we was going to meet with Aaron Glenn also. But that's what I think. I think he was number one. And I think they were going to offer him a contract. So on the way there, we all know the story. You know, he hit us while we was in the air. He's going back. This is second year doing that. He's going back. This, and that. He don't want to coach. All right, cool, whatever. The way he did it was out of character. You knew the schedule. You knew they were coming, right? And then they end up coming out from Adam Schefter that they didn't even get the message, and they got the what he sent them. They didn't get because they was in the air, so they didn't get the exact message from him. They started hearing it and seeing it on social media first. I tell you this about Ben Johnson. This is second year pulling from consideration. Some people are just comfortable, man. Right? Like you can't be mad at him. he's coming from winning. He said he lost for 11 years. Last year he was saying that. He just wants to win, and it was he wants an established quarterback and all those different types of things. But again, what's the issue with that as far as we're concerned? You're trying to have a certain group of people to lead. You want a certain circumstance. You want a certain situation to lead, and it's not going to work. The NFL does not work like that. We've seen it with Ron Rivera, right? So you can just imagine, right? He wants to go to a situation where he's comfortable. And there's no way you're going to go to a situation where you're complete comfortable, because of the reason why you're going to interview for a specific head coaching job is because the team is horrible. And that's enough for Ben Johnson. McDonald, did he even have a coordinator? I think they just hired an offensive coordinator. I don't even know what his staff looking like. But yeah, he definitely chose them over us. It could have been for money, or it could have been for the amount of years they were willing to give up. But it did seem like there was some type of bargaining going on. I think we even reached out to him when he was back on over there to Seattle the second time to see if he was still interested. And that tells you right there that, we did lose him because we did want him. But here comes Dan Quinn. All right, Dan Quinn. Here he is, right? You get Dan Quinn. We understand the head coach. We understand the 28-3. We understand all that. First of all, they wasn't even supposed to be there that year. I think the Saints won the division that year. I think they were 10-6, whatever the case may be. They went in, they lost. But the one thing about losing is just how you rebound from losing. How do you humble yourself from losing? He immediately after that game, he reached out to the Golden State Warriors and whatever baseball team that was. I don't have it right now. I don't remember. They also lost the lead in the championship game. How did you handle the locker room after that? That's humbling for someone to do that. That's humbling. How can I get my locker room back after dealing with that? That's humbling. Second thing, when he got fired from Atlanta, he called all the players back, all the players, coaches. What could I have done to do better? That's humbling. He went to Dallas. Dallas had a historically worst defense in the NFL history prior to him coming. He came back. He flipped the script to a historic change from one season to another as far as total defense is concerned. He did it for 2 years straight. He was one of the hottest candidates in the offseason for those 2 years. We don't get to talk too much, but also in those staffs that he had, he had great staffs. He built staffs. Most of the people on his staff, even from Atlanta, have went on to be head coaches. I mean, his staff that was under him in Dallas have gone on to be coordinators, defensive coordinators, passing game coordinators, people that was directly under him. He knows people. He knows relationships. And the one thing I like about the Dan Quinn hire is that we didn't hire a loser in that sense, right? We snatched him away. He's under contract. The team still wanted him. We snatched him away. And he's bringing over some winners with him. That's what I like about the Dan Quinn hire. And we've talked about the Dan Quinn hire a lot. I just haven't had an opportunity to kind of talk about it here. I know On in the Huddle did when we first hired him a few weeks ago. But this is just the motion of everything. This is just the motion of everything. And why we gonna be in good? I think we're gonna be in good hands. He's building a strong staff, right? He's not gonna call plays. He's gonna CEO this thing. So he's gonna build a strong staff, and you want your staff to be successful. And we've seen that he has had successful staffs. There's no arguments in that. So we talked about Cliff already a few episodes back. Joe Witt, of course, we talked about him. So L to the Izzo, Larry Izzo, special teams coordinator for the Seahawks, right? Mike McDonald's staff. So we were able to snatch him over. He under contract. We snatched him. We just snatching people, man. I mean, you got Dallas blocking interview because they know we can get them. It's been so many reports that people want to come here, right? So it's probably taking us so long to fill out the staff because we got so many resumes. Did you think about that? Yeah, boy. All right, Izzo. Special teams been top 10 the last 3 years. 21, they were 5th. 22, they were 4th. 23, they were 8th. Great hire. Good hire. We don't know much about them, know much about special teams, but I know our special teams has not been good. You know, and it comes from Cheesehead. You know, I think he, you know, just looking back, it's I think we still should bring a competition for Joey Sly. And Trustway had a bad year this year, but you kind of think about it, like how much snapping, like long snapping, like how much was the poor long snapping, how much does that count for some of the bad kicks that we've had, punting and kick? I guess, you know, we'll kind of know this upcoming off season OTAs or whatever when they bring in some new people, but that's something definitely to look forward to. And then like you have Ron just looking and seeing this guy just, I mean, that whole situation. I mean, he traded up for him. Gee, you know, I don't even want to talk about it. But I like this hire. It seems like a guy that has a lot of energy, teaches. We're hearing more and more about him. The Brian Johnson hire, like we just talked to Smitty about it. I love him. I love that hire. Great hire. Like Smitty said, he worked with a lot of quarterbacks. I mean, Luck, Dak, Hurts. He named a few others that he's worked with. Coached at Florida. I mean, he's a cover of a NCAA year video game. I mean, he was a baller in college. You know, he's worked with these guys. You know, the offense spazzed out. His play calling, you know, that whole dynamic between him and Sirianni was off. It wasn't good. You know, it was kind of destined in the sense to fail. But you got to think about it, man. He was quite instrumental in the development of Jalen Hurts. You know, they were 7th in yards, 8th in points. I mean, the offense was still good overall. I think that's a great hire. We don't exactly know what his role is going to be. They did keep Tavita Pritchard, but just as my second time hearing his name from when we hired him last year. I don't think I heard him at all last year. So I don't know what he was doing. But they decided to keep him on. They say a lot of teams wanted to hire him. A lot of teams wanted to bring him on. So say in fact you discipline one child a little different than the other. Is it tonight or was it last night that Chip Hernandez sits down with? Is it? It should be tonight. It should be tonight because I don't think they would do that after the Super Bowl. Morning, Danny was good. What's up, DT, Cliff Johnson, Pritchard, Pac-12 ties. There we go. What you trying to say, DT? Oh man, it might be talking about Master P, but so I like those hires. Jason Simmons also from Seattle, so we snatched two people from Seattle under Mike McDonald. He's coming in as the DB coach, passing game coordinator. He's coming in. I'm trying to get someone to give us a little insight on him. I haven't done a lot of research on him, but from just the looks of the internet, seems like he's a really good hire to our staff. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. So those are our coaches so far. We still have some coaches on the we still have some coaches. I haven't looked at the website to see what the coaches look like. For now, let me see. Just give me some little grace. But while I do that, I do want to show you all Redzone In the Lab, Redzone DC Media is adding boxing. Yeah, man. We adding boxing to under the brand, which is going to debut in a month or so at the Joshua fight. Prior to the Joshua fight, we're going to have a pilot episode, introduce you to everyone. We're going to talk about pound for pound, everyone's top 10, and then we're going to get into the boxing season, man. We're going to be doing that at least once a month or whenever we have a big fight. And I think another big fight was announced yesterday that they are excited to cover. I don't know a ton about boxing in that sense, like they do, man. Like we got this chat, and the chat be going crazy. They be in there talking about all types of stuff. Oh yeah, Haney and Garcia, April 20th. So, but the Joshua fight is before that. But yeah, let me pull up this these coaches real quick, and y'all can check out this new promo.
Hey, what up, you guys? It's your boy DW, super fired up about some brand new boxing content coming your way. Red Zone Roadwork Boxing, hosted by a fan favorite, Miss Lady E. A bunch of us sharp, opinionated folks are going to get on here, and we're going to hash it out with our pound for pound list and favorite knockouts, fights we're looking forward to. Shows will be before the big event, during, live, and post wrap up to see who was right, who was wrong, and who just had a good time, right? Can't wait.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Red Zone Road Work Boxing. We can't wait. We can't wait to get into that, man. Yeah. So, do you think all these hires are better for long-term growth or win now mentality? Josh Hurd said we ain't in no rebuild mode. Your head coach came out and said we're recalibrating. Right. So that tells you don't expect Terry to be going nowhere. Don't expect John Allen to go nowhere. You know, these guys want to compete. They want to compete now. They ain't talking about playoffs, this, and that, but they're going to make moves for a team to compete now. They're not looking down the line, right? Dan Quinn said, I'm not saying the word rebuild. What's up, Ray? I'm not saying the word rebuild. So he already taken away an excuse that he had a reason to have. Think about that, right? Think about that. He already took away an excuse that he had the right to use next year. Hey, we're in a rebuild. You know, we need a couple years, 2-3 years to get this thing rolling. Like he could have went 2-15 and talked about, yeah, like I said, we was in a rebuild. We like this young. Now it's time for us. He took away all that when he had the right to keep it. So we're expecting for this team to compete next year. Now people say, "Oh, what you predict?" Just that how we only got like 20-some players on the roster, y'all. We can't predict anything. I think it's like 40-something, but those are future contract players that's not going to be nowhere near the 53 come September. So, like, we only have we don't even like we don't know. We don't know the prediction. We don't know that. We got to wait. But I want them to compete. They're going to compete. They're going to play hard, and we should see, and I expect to see better performance from a lot of our young players. All right, let me pull this up before we get ready to get out of here. Let's see what we got. I don't know why Enterprise is calling me. Let's see what we got. All right, let's see. What do we have here? Let me exit full screen. All right, let's see what we got. All right, we got Dan Quinn, Cliff Kingsbury. You see, EB is gone. Joe Witt. All right, so he's still here. We just hired one. I don't think it's official yet. So, that just needs to be updated. Let me see. Juan Castillo, Ben Jacobs, like all of these are so far still on the roster. Yeah, I expect all of this to look different. Juan Castillo is probably gone. Kristen Garcia is probably gone. Ryan Kerrigan, hopefully he stays. Got some offense assistants who I don't really know what their jobs are. Jennifer King, Tavita is staying. Vincent Rivera, since the linebackers coach, he's probably gone. Travell Wharton is probably gone. Jeff Zagona, Zakina. I think somebody put it in the chat. I'm sorry, I forgot it again. He's probably gone. Yeah. So, but I don't like, and I know a lot of people love. I know a lot of people love the Jennifer King and Randy Jordan, but to be honest, they can go too. If you want to keep Coach King as an assistant, I think most assistants to these position coaches have a better chance to staying than the actual coaches. I wouldn't mind it. I love the diversity, and she's good. She's good, and I think she has a great trajectory in this league. So you don't want to get rid of too many good coaches. But Jordan Reed, man, look, I mean, not Jordan Reed, Randy Jordan. Look, man, your running backs fumble all the time, all of them. C-Rod, Gibby, B-Rod, they all fumble. Whether they retain it or not, they fumble. They vision is horrible. So all those like golf ball and tennis ball, like all of those drills you be doing don't seem to be working. So like bring someone else in. Let's see if they can take B-Rob and C-Rod to a whole different level to expand their game. So if they keep him, I won't be mad. If they let him go, I definitely won't be mad. What's up, Marcus? Good morning, man. Dan Quinn's done a great job filling out the coaching staff. Thinking Terry would be moved is crazy given his dead cap. Same with Duran. John Allen maybe if he wants, but yeah, he wants to stay now. And like him too. Like they need to take his C away. Stand on business. Hopefully these new folks are good enough to stop promoting from within as we move forward. Like to previous years or this last regime, I didn't pay too much attention to the staff outside of the coordinators. But this time, I'm definitely paying attention. They ain't gonna get me with no high school DB coach. Nope, not this time. We ain't going for it. But that's it. I just want to kind of talk about Brian Johnson and my thoughts on the coaching search thus far. Hat backers, I'm all in on Quinn, Kingpin. I'm all in on Spawn, Joe Witt, and I'm all in on Nightwing, Cliff Kingsbury. I just need to know more about his offense, and that's going to be something that we're going to be looking forward to, trying to bring in a content creator that Arizona fan. I kind of watched him when he was there because he was with USC, but he was just like an assistant. So he didn't really have – I thought he was a quarterback's coach, but he wasn't even that. But, yeah, I think it was some comments earlier that I did say I was going to get back to before we go. Jay with either Jaden Daniels or Caleb Williams is drafted, and it takes just 2 years to develop him under Cliff Kingsbury and Brian Johnson. Don't let Eagles fans have mercy. Wayne, there's no guarantee of anything pertaining to the draft. I'm praying for them to be able to trade back a few picks and still be able to get the players that they want and need. They can trade back 1 or 2 picks. We don't know what they're going to do. Every time we think they're going to go left, they go right. And it's always a better decision than what we think. Initially, we don't like it because initially it's like waking up too early and you can't go back to sleep. That's how we feel about it initially. But after like an hour or a day or two, like an hour go past, you forgot, get your day started. You forgot you woke up too early. And with us, with these, day go by, we get more and more information. We feel much better about what they did. So that's what because we don't know what winning is. So when we see winning, we think it's losing. So we're confused at first until we're taught that this is actually a winning move. So that's been us, right? I think that's about it. I do appreciate y'all for joining. Appreciate y'all for listening. I know your time is very valuable for you to spend it with us. We definitely appreciate it. Remember, do it because you love it, not because it loves you. And really remember that, like doing these podcasts, spaces, shout out. Matter of fact, before we go, let me throw this up.
Saturday Brunch with the Ladies of HTTC, sponsored by Redzone In the Lab. Join us Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern as we discuss everything NFL and, of course, brunch. See you soon. Hail to the Commanders.
Yep, so that's where I will be at 11 o'clock, so I expect to see you there too. But like do it because you love it, like not because it loves you, because once you get into that part of when you start looking at numbers, you start looking at quantity over quality, what people think about you, how people look at you, how people want to compete against you. Like once all those things starts to consume you, you start to lose the love of it because you're focusing too much on the it loving you. You just got to realize is never gonna is never gonna 100% love you. It's just not. This is just the world, life, the industry. This is just what everyone wants to be heard. Everyone wants to be seen. So when you get in a position that you're heard and you're seen, you have to take care of it. You have to cherish it, right? You have to be humble. You have to accept growth. You have to accept that there's always room to grow. Because when you get to a point where, you think you're there and there's nothing can touch you, nobody can touch you, you're at the top of the mountain is when you fall the hardest. Like do these things because you love it. Like even in spaces, like don't be so caught up in how many people are in the room. Don't get caught up on the amount of people. Like it's all about the quality. It's about who's in there. It's all about the content. Like you could have a great conversation that lasts for hours with just 7 people on the floor, 4 people on the floor. And you just keep building that to one day, it'll grow. And then if it doesn't grow, it doesn't matter because you love doing it. It's something that we don't like acknowledge. We love breathing, don't we? Right? That's how what you love, like this podcasting thing, like it's like breathing in a sense to me. I just love doing it. It's natural because I don't need it to love me. I don't need podcasting to love me. I don't need Twitter spaces to love me. I don't need any of that to love me. You love it. As long as you love it, it doesn't need you to say I love you too, because you already love it. One beat, one sound, one heart.